Can we stand, please? Can you hear me online? Okay, we're good. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above. From the mountains to the prairies, to the oceans white with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, my home, sweet home.
Barb, do you have some words of inspiration for us today?
Sure.
Oh, let me get Barb on the camera then.
All right. Some more words about the art of kindness. Kindness is more than behavior. The art of kindness involves harboring a spirit of helpfulness, being generous and considerate, and doing so without expecting anything in return. Rather than viewing it exclusively as an action, think of kindness as a quality of being you can cultivate. Giving kindness often is simple, free, and health enhancing.
We might as well go right into our presentation, right? With
Yeah.
Bill and Barb.
Sure.
Okay. Okay. This is a presentation about a Hummer rally. Okay. What is an HMMWV, also known as a Humvee or a Hummer? The High Mobility Multi-Purpose Wheeled Vehicle, HMMWV, also known as a Humvee or a Hummer. The High Mobility Multi-Purpose Wheeled Vehicle, HMMWV, is a lightweight, highly mobile, high-performance, diesel-powered, four-wheel drive, air transportable, and air droppable family of tactical vehicles. Now, that's an explanation of a Humvee from the U.S. military. It was designed for the military and built by AM General Corporation in Mishawaka, Indiana. AM General goes back to 1903 when it became Overland Automobile, which was renamed the Willys Overland Motors, and in the 1940s it became known as the Jeep. In 1979, AM General began design work for the military on what would eventually become the HMMWV, or now known as the Humvee.
I'll take this part. They, AM General won a military contract in 1984, and they began to build the Humvee on the same assembly line, the actual same assembly line in Mishawaka that the Willys military Jeeps were first built on. So the assembly line is still there and they're still building them. And 1990, Arnold Schwarzenegger was shooting the movie Kindergarten Cop, and he saw a 6,000-pound Humvee used by the military. He went ape for the Humvee, and he wanted one for himself. He contacted AM General, and with his encouragement, I want one. And with some redesign to make them legally roadworthy for the public, they became available for the civilian market in 1992. Our military soldiers were okay in them for the U.S. roads, but not for civilians on the same roads. Seatbelts, door impact bars, heat ignition, and door locks, to name a few things, had to be built into the military ones because the public was now going to drive on the roads. Didn't matter when the military men were driving on the roads. They didn't get those features. Then in 1999, General Motors acquired the rights to the brand, and I think it went downhill after that to the public model. It officially became the Hummer H1. The public model Hummer H1 went out of production in 2006. GM followed with the smaller Hummer H2 and smaller yet H3, but discontinued them soon after social outcry of wanting more fuel-efficient vehicles.
Now, what makes a Hummer special? Humvees feature full-time real four-wheel drive, independent suspension, steep approach and departure angles, 60% grade ability, 16 inches of ground clearance, properly equipped with a snorkel. Ours was capable of at least 36 inches of water. The military had better electronics waterproofing, and we've seen photos of a military unit in 6 feet of water. The military has purchased over 140,000 Humvees, along with 50 nations also buying them. It's been replaced now, though, with newer designed vehicles. Now, Bill had been building and creating our Pocono property starting in 1993. And the first winter, we had a local guy with a half-ton pickup clearing our 1,100-foot long switchback driveway down over the hill. He had lots of breakdowns because he was using a lightweight rig to plow. The next winter in 1994, he decided to get a real four-wheel drive vehicle and put a plow on it, a 9-foot plow. Worked great, especially with cable chains on all 4 wheels. Along comes a couple of good vehicle design changes for 1996. The retail was $70,700, less a hefty trade-in, and Bill got a newer version. Eventually, after some expensive repair bills for routine maintenance and damage maintenance, he traded it away in 2002 for a Hummer H2. Big mistake. The Hummer H1 was used in our daughter's wedding. Our Hummer H1 brought our daughter and first grandchild Charles home from the hospital in January 2001, after he was born during a heavy winter snowfall that year. We plowed lots of snow in the Poconos and London homes along with neighbors in the Poconos. Barbie and Chris, our daughter and son-in-law, were living there then, and they were always plowed out so Chris could get to work in Bethlehem. Did a lot of pulling logs and equipment at the Poconos property. Now the video that you're about to see is about the 1994, 95, and 97 Hummer Rallies at the property of Dick Kinzalow in Dayton, Tennessee. 1994 was the first rally ever in the USA for Hummers, and the AM General Company had several mechanics and many parts available at all 3 rallies. And you'll see why in the video they had to have repair work there. Repairs were free. Break it, we'll repair it, or install new parts, no charge, even when you're not at a rally during the warranty period. Now, Dick Kinzalow was an inventor and a businessman from Dayton, Tennessee, and Chicago. He bought his Hummer from the dealership in Chattanooga so he could better explore his 5,000-acre hillside. Dayton is a small town in Tennessee, located just west of the Smoky Mountains. If Dayton sounds familiar to you, think July 1925. The Scopes monkey trial took place there, featuring the prosecution of John Scopes, a 24-year-old science teacher, for teaching evolution in a Tennessee public school. Billed as a grand showdown between religion and science, the trial played out for the world in the sweltering summer heat of Dayton, Tennessee in 1925. Now, Dick Kinzalow was a very well-liked and appreciated resident of Dayton. His Hummer rallies were held ending with the local Strawberry Festival parade, as you'll see. I hope you enjoy our Hummer adventures from 27 years ago.
This says 97, that says 94. It must be some kind of a flashback. Wee-oo.
3 years later.
Maybe let's separate, get all those people over here.
Everybody's going.
Camera's bouncing already and we're only on the paved road. We haven't even hit the trails yet. Here we are near the top of the mountain, just pulling off onto the trails. Little parking area before we hit the trails so we can lower the air pressure in the tires. And here comes our rear vehicle man.
Who's way in the back? Who has the last truck?
Black one? I don't know if they're out.
310. So we have trail marks on the map, so we can identify where we are. So there may be times we just stop for no obvious reason.
I think it should have been a fluorescent one.
That's all right. That one's finally got a scratch.
Yeah, that we got the president of California.
Bye.
All right.
Please.
Is that the trouble you get yourself into this time?
Yeah, I got my gloves on.
You must really be thinking about this.
Why?
He's on the other end. How'd you do this?
You want something to holler?
You know, these roadside service calls are not cheap. Hey, you got a flat tire award or what?
Yeah. Yeah, he blew out the
Oh,
sidewalk.
I need another bandage.
When he gets to the bottom, turn left now, he should be turning left, and he'll drive right straight through it. If you try to keep your wheel straight, left wheel comes 3 feet off the ground.
The reward of a good run.
You talking about dinner or the pictures?
The scenery. What do you think over there? Hello.
Good morning. Good morning.
All right, this should be a piece of cake for you.
Hang to the left tight.
Just hug it around left there. You'll follow the rest right down. You'll do all right.
Clear up there.
I think so.
It's not making it. It looks like making it.
Yeah.
Yep, we need to move the trucks up. We're running out of room. Pull in behind me when you can.
That's where we will be going. Thank you.
Ooh, excuse me. Wasn't me.
Brake lights means he's on brake throttle modulation. No brake lights means he's not on brake throttle
Here
modulation.
he goes. Woo. Okay, it's our turn. How we do here? Of our fearless spotters. Alrighty.
Light, brake, heavy throttle. Don't go that high. Go about half that high. The last guy,
Yeah.
I thought he was going to go through it. Stay on the throttle. You're going to slide down twice. The first slide down doesn't hurt you much. You want to try to steer like you want to stay halfway up in the bank.
Okay.
Okay, when you come down the first time, stay on the throttle. You're going to shoot back up the bank. The second time when you come down, if you don't stay on the throttle, the ass end's going to come out and shoot down between those two gaps. You get to the top, you get off of it, fall in line. Go!
That's easy.
Oh, heck. Yep.
Someone blow a transfer case out? Oh, he is. Right around. No wonder what he did.
Told you George's way better.
Bill, did you follow me at 6? That's right.
Yesterday. I remember this rock formation.
Okay, I'm going by the stop.
We didn't do the creek bed yesterday.
Sure did. I remember that rock formation right back there.
Whoops. This is her first attempt. She's driven on the highway, never off-road. Hey, she made it. Barbara.
You take 8 extra with this down. You do did. Good morning. What's in that cake?
I want you to know kids are very special people.
First year he ran that. Second year he won it. He throws a lot. You throw a lot of parties on the ball. This is not as much, but 5 miles away.
Shot of this straight, it doesn't matter whether it's a half or a quarter more.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah. You get down to it. Oh, I got plenty. You got plenty. Oh, yeah. This is lighter. You got a little fine.
What a group. Okay, we put that one down. Who got, who's runner up?
Third place.
Okay, hold on there, hold on.
Second place. Probably would have been first. You had to stop for somebody, right? Paul Jan.
Paul, move a closer.
Special round of applause to Dick and Joy Kinzalow who make this possible. It is an award for the person that deems the Hummer worst in a rally. The 1994 recipient was Lauren John. Are you here?
Yeah.
This is a rod. I always thought a rod was something to fish with, and now that's about all that one's good for. If you can look, it's going to be on display up here. Yeah. The award is called the Humdinger Award, and Lauren was here last year, and we could not find hammers cheap enough at the time. We finally found some cheap hammers, and here is the 1994 award. You can see that engraved for the 1994 Humdinger recipient right here. There's a man that took something called a C-joint, and I'm not mechanical. Here it is. This is a CV joint out of a Hummer. And this is just exactly what happened to it. Only this is the only part that we could salvage to bring here tonight. So our recipient of the 1995 Humdinger Award is Bernard Armbruster.
Oh, where is it? The wonderful Hummer people that got me off the mountain. And as a 2,400-hour pilot, it takes off well, doesn't handle badly in the air, but the landings are terrible.
This thing is oak, solid oak. It's in a frame, suitable for mounting. We are going to mount it on any wall wherever we have a rally. And let me show you this. We call it the Crapper Award. It's like the Oscar and the Emmy, all right, except this is practical. This is solid oak veneer. What crapper? Well, if you don't know what crapper means in the South, now you do know, okay? It's called the Crapper, and it's got 1995 on here. This is the first year we're going to present this particular award. We are going to put the name of the recipient, engrave it, and stick it on here until we fill it up. And
fill it up?
Why? Yeah. You caught that. That's great. The reason we call it the Crapper is it is given to the person that yells out those infamous words in the grandest style at a Hummer rally. And I don't know if you can read this, but this year's recipient is going to be introduced by Mr. Jerry Young, who is going to come up here because he was an eyewitness to this semi-tragic event, and he is going to tell us about the exploits of this particular gentleman.
Had a couple of people that were thinking about doing this for, but after today, it just became unanimous in the fact that it's not bad to lose control of your Hummer as you go down a hill, and it's not bad to nearly hit a tree. I mean, that can happen. You know, we had it happen yesterday. But when you scatter every single person at the bottom of the hill and they're hunting boulders to get behind, trees to get behind, cameramen are grabbing their cameras, it's panic time. And you know, I really think that Bill Magnuson ought to come up here and get his award because he pretty well scared all of us. And that pretty well says exactly what it was because one of the guys said, if my camera had been there, he'd have run over it, and I'm glad I moved.
Perfect fit. What do you want your name put on that?
Give a seat down. Dick, I think we're going to have to rename that hill, or maybe Bill and Ted's Incredible Adventure. What I saw was colors moving. But my son said at the end when we got done, he said, Daddy, do it again. I gotta thank you. I was afraid.
I present to you a real good friend, a person that we all love. He used to say a few words to us, and I know we want to hear them. And Mr. Dick Kinzalow, he's going to get up here and say a few things. When you come back and see us here, I speak for all the volunteers, all the friends that we have made. We want you to come back. We're your friends. We're going to miss you. Here's Dick Kinzalow.
Well, we'd like to welcome all of you again to the great town of Dayton and the great state of Tennessee. I hope that all of you had a good time so far. Yeah. You're not worried about the scratches and the dings and the cut tires and all that stuff, huh?
Nah.
Good.
After seeing yours, they said.
Got 2 or 3 housekeeping things that we need to take care of. We have 53 vehicles so far, which is, I think, is a record gathering for civilian Hummers. We had a record last year, and I think we have a record this year. And I think the 53 will probably be increased by a few. There are a lot of people that are involved in putting on an event like this. And without whose help, it just wouldn't come off. We've had volunteers working probably starting last October.
That's all, folks.
What questions might you want to know answers to?
Are they still doing this thing?
Back in the day, when you had these, how much did it cost to put the fuel in it? I mean, they're not inexpensive.
Well, diesel,
How many gallons to the?
well, the green one,
Mile.
the first one I had was a green one.
Uh-huh.
And that only had a 25-gallon tank. And over the next 2 years, they put a second fuel tank in. Diesel fuel, I don't know. I'd have to Google what diesel fuel was in the 90s.
Yeah, but how many miles per gallon did we get? 7?
Yeah, 7, maybe 8 miles to the gallon. So I had 40+ gallons of fuel. The vehicle was amazing. People have asked me, with all the various cars and trucks and motorcycles and motorhomes, what do you miss the most? Where I live now, I don't miss any of them because I don't have room to have them, store them, and have fun with them. At my age, I don't have physical ability. But if I had to go back and if I had the money and the space, I'd have another Hummer. The cost, it was kind of inconsequential. It was part of your hobby, part of your fun. And it wasn't like it was thousands of dollars. It was probably a couple $100 in diesel fuel, a $350 tire.
Yeah, that was my next question.
Yeah,
How much did a tire cost?
they were $350 when you could get them, because at that time we also had some government skirmishes in various parts of the world, and they would get first pick on the equipment.
Sure.
Go there. 2 Hummer was on the horizon, so I got a hold of the dealer out in Camp Hill who got one of the H2s in to sell. I said, I'd like to trade an H1. He said, we'll buy it. We want it, because they had to have an H1 on display, and they had to let people drive it, and they had to make an off-road course for it. And he said, we'll take your trade-in, and that's what we'll take on the off-road course if it gets banged and scratched. So I had a very good trade-in, got the H2. We had it for a while. We towed it behind the motorhome for a while. And it wasn't the same thing. It really wasn't the same thing.
I have to interject a little bit. Have any of you heard of the Tale of the Dragon? We were on our way home from one rally, and it happened to be my turn to drive.
Dayton, Tennessee's on the other side of the mountain, the Blue Ridge. So we're going over the Blue Ridge.
So
The Smokies.
he's sitting in the right seat, dozing, of course, as he usually did when I drove, and hit this one road, and we didn't plan on it or anything. But all of a sudden, I'm going,
I'm bouncing
and
from side
he's
to side.
bouncing from side to side, woke him up. He's, what's going on? I said, you gotta see this road. You should see this road. It's an 11-mile long road with 318 curves in it, in 11 miles. If you've never been on the Tail of the Dragon, it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. We have taken groups, motorcycle groups down there already, and done that Tail of the Dragon on motorcycle, after that. The one couple, she rode on the back of his motorcycle. They got to the end of the tail of the dragon. She literally got off the back of the motorcycle and got down and kissed the ground. She was just so happy it was over with.
Somebody has a.
We also have friends who have drive Mini Coopers, and they go down there every year and do the tail of the dragon. It's a lot of fun if you're ever in that area and you want to have just a fun ride. It's interesting.
James has a comment. He calls the tail of the dragon Dancing with God. As a motorcyclist, he's been on it.
Barb or Bill,
Yeah.
can you tell us something about those tires? I saw you going over all those rocks, and I would assume that might have a wire mesh in the tires or something to keep them from puncturing.
Nothing in them. You just have to lower the air pressure. Now, without having a picture of one up there, without getting too technical, they have not most of the military ones, the civilian ones and military ones that were for the people that had a few stars on their lapels. Not the regular grunts. You could actually, it was an actual air compressor inside the vehicle that I had a dial for the front tires and dial for the back tires. And I could lower or increase the tire pressure in the front pair or the back pair. And doing so, you get to do a trail ride. You lower the pressure down to 8 pounds. You just dial it down. And then when you got back off the trail ride, and you were going to go back on the highway, you turn it up to about 26 or 28 pounds, I forget. But no, they didn't have anything in. There were some the government had that were run flats. They were a veritable bitch to repair a tire because a run flat was a big rubber donut that was slid on top of the rim. The rim actually, even my rim, the rim came apart in 2 pieces. Around the side of the rim, there's almost 30-some bolts. You took the bolts off and you took the rim apart and you slid half the tire on. Then you had to have a pry bar to separate the tire. And then you slid this big rubber donut in. And then you put the tire on, you put the tire back together. And what happened was if you were hit by military fire and you lost your air pressure, the rubber tire would squat down on this big rubber inner tire, which was a solid piece of rubber, so therefore you could continue driving. That was not something the civilian Hummers had or even wanted, because it screwed up your ride big time, and it wasn't designed for 50, 60, 70 mile an hour highway speed, but it was okay for the military purposes. But yeah, I ripped one tire on a rock. When I went across that rock trail where I was the one that did it twice, the day we were down that rock trail, who wants to go first? And these Hummer people that are there with their Hummers for the first time, getting them scratched or dirty. I said, look, I've done it before. I did it the year before. I said, I'll do it. So I went out and it's a whole thing where you lower the pressure down on your tires to 8 pounds and you literally crawl. As you saw in the one picture, the piece of rubber was just going up over the edge of a rock, and the rubber was just compressing. That's because it was down to 8 pounds pressure. If you did it at any kind of speed, it would have gone pow. But it's something you have to learn to do. And when I went down with my green Hummer the first year, Barb wasn't with me. The first year I went down with my green Hummer, I went through the trail the first day, and some of the branches I got out later on, and I said, I didn't scratch in the aluminum body through the paint. And I said, oh my, oh well, I'm on a trail, I'm trail riding. You have to expect that. It's kind of like in the old days of motorcycle riding, and James isn't old enough to know this, because he's always probably had a helmet or a full face. But in the old days, motorcyclists in the 40s and 50s, they didn't have a windscreen. They might have had a pair of strap-on goggles, but you could always tell a happy motorcyclist by the number of bugs on his teeth. And that's the kind of thing you get used to. If it's your hobby, if it's what you want to do, it's the kind of thing that you learn to live with. So I said, okay, I scratched it. And at that point it was like, if I'm going to come back again, it's going to get scratched again. And it did, it got scratched. I never I never crinkled metal, but I did scratch the paint. I did blow a tire down the trail. And again, the more you drive on the street at 28 to 30 pounds pressure on blacktop, the faster you wear the tires out. So I probably, in the years I had it, I probably went through 6 or 8 tires over the years. Turned around and I said, I gotta put a plow in this. Went out to a dealership that we used to do truck business with out in West Allentown, Divers. Put a 9-foot Western snow plow in the front and make brackets to make it work, because they don't make snow plows for Humvees and Hummers. And the first time we went through snow, problem I had was because of the weight of the plow hanging up front, the back end of the truck was light. So I used to have to put 6 or 8 bags of rock salt in the back of the truck if I wanted to go plowing, so that the back wheels would stay in contact with the ground. Anything else from anybody?
The only thing I would say is I have to commend Bill, because I don't think there are many men that would allow their wives to play with their toys like that. Seriously, I mean, I know men and they're toys, and you don't touch them.
She drove the motorhomes,
Yeah,
small
nice.
ones and the big ones. The big one was 46,000 pounds. Same size as a Atlanta bus or bigger. She flew my airplanes. She had a pinch hitter flying course. So if I could say, I'm gonna close my eyes for 10 minutes, you keep an eye on the plane. She had her own motorcycle, but she preferred to sit behind me on trips.
Good share.
She learned how to use a snow blower when I had my cancer up in the Poconos. She went out with me the one day and I said, this is what I gotta do. She said, all right, I think I can do this. She practiced a little bit. I took an afternoon nap after my chemo, and she came back and she said, hey, you don't have to go out. I took care of it already. So that's my story. I'm sticking to it.
Thank you, Bill.
Any other comments from our attendees online?
Hey, thanks, Barb and Bill. That looked like a lot of fun. I can definitely relate to having that fun as a hobby, the camaraderie of fellow participants. That's really that's really a lot of fun doing that stuff. So thanks for sharing that. I could definitely relate to some of the hijinks that go on, and some of the kerfuffles that happen and doing that kind of stuff. So it all adds up to some great stories and great camaraderie.
That's all, folks.